Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of cryptocurrencies that may become tax-free next year. I want to talk about why that's important, how much money you could potentially save, and why I think these assets will do extremely well next year, and what their purposes are. I'm going to go through each one individually. We're going to look at some charts. We're going to look at their use cases. I am using Grok to do this because Grok is very good at taking a bunch of data and summarizing it quickly for you. So I am a huge fan of Grok. We're going to go through that. We're going to talk about it. So here's what we go on. I said Trump said he wants to make all American-based cryptocurrencies tax-free next year. Which coins are these? And this is what Grok has totaled out for me. Bitcoin, ADA, ALGO, XRP, XLM, and HBAR. So surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, these cryptocurrencies have also been performing very well this year. So let's just go through real quick. Everyone knows what Bitcoin is. It is basically a store of value. That is, in my opinion, the easiest way to explain what Bitcoin is. It's a store of value. It has a limited supply, and the price should always trend up over time, especially when you zoom out, right? So if we zoom out here, you can see the trend is definitely up. Every 4 years, there is always a nice return, and we never revisit the lows after we move into the next cycle. So I think everyone is pretty familiar with that one. So I will leave that one alone. Now, one thing I did is I did take all of these different cryptocurrencies. I put the ticker here, and I kind of summarized the use case for all of these, but we're going to go review this in the video. But I want to review the market caps of these. So obviously Bitcoin has the largest market cap out of all of these currencies. It is almost $2 trillion. The next highest market cap is XRP, and then ADA, and then Hedera, then Stellar, and finally Algorand. So usually what happens is the smaller market cap coins have a larger potential to grow. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but most of the time it does, right? So if you want to look at, how much money is in Bitcoin, for example, you'll need to put a lot more money in to affect the price, okay? You'll have to put a lot more in to affect the price. So if we go over to coin market cap, let's pull up coin market cap real quick. Great place to see these. And this is what we got going on. So if you want to check any of these market caps, you can check them very easily here. And if you click them, you'll notice here that basically you have this depth chart. And basically what this says is the capital required to increase the price by 2%, right? So if you want to increase the price, you need a lot of money into here to even move the price at all. 2%, for example. So it kind of just shows you basically, the more money is in the asset, the more money it takes to move that price up. Okay, so that's the first part. Now let's talk about ADA. I'm just going to go through in the order that I went through these, and I guess let's look first at the price history of these. We'll go through all of these real quick here. So, all right, so we have ADA. We already went through Bitcoin. ADA had this massive spike, went from, on my birthday, November 5th, it went from 32 cents all the way up to $1.30, which was a nice 300% gain. Now, we've seen a nice little pullback from Cardano, about a 40% pullback. So it is definitely trading at a discount right now. If you've seen any of my other videos, I think that Merry Christmas, by the way. I forgot to say Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day. Here I am grinding away on Christmas Day while my wife and my son are sleeping. Anyways, it's a nice little discount here. And usually after Christmas, we have seen very big rallies that will go up for quite some time. So here's Christmas in the last cycle. You can see basically Christmas Day, it was basically only up from there. So I think these assets are going to do very good going forward, but I just wanted to hit on that real quick. XRP saw a very, very nice performance, up almost 500%, and then a little 35% pullback, and we're trading at a very slight discount. So XRP is another one that, again, all of these on the chart have done extremely well. So a lot of this, I think, was triggered off the news that you may not have to pay taxes on these because they're American-made cryptocurrencies, right? American based, I should say. So XLM, same thing. XLM saw a beautiful 600%. And then now we have a 50% pullback and retested this 50% level, and it is selling at a discount as well. HBAR, similar story. Look at these. All the price action is very similar for all of these coins, right? So here is HBAR. Again, this one saw an 800%, so that one was even better. 40% pullback, and we're still trading at a little bit of discount over the all-time high of about 20%. And the last one on the list is ALGO. ALGO, look at all these graphs look very similar. Up 500%, down 50%, and then now we're back up another 30% here. So a lot of price action on these. Now let's go back to the use case here, because I think that's going to be very important. And then at the very end, we'll kind of summarize how much you could potentially gain for having these be tax-free. So it depends on your income bracket, but yeah. All right, ADA, what is it? So this was one of the only ones that I didn't just kind of know off the top of my head what the use case was for ADA, but it is decentralized finance. So that is for like lending and borrowing platforms. So, you know, it allows you to lend, borrow, and stake ADA and earn interest and use it as collateral towards other assets. So smart contracts. Smart contracts is just kind of what the blockchain is. So like Ethereum, for example, is probably the biggest known smart contract. And you can create other coins on using smart contracts. You can do all sorts of things with them. Automated finance agreements, governance, decentralized organizations, DAO for short, supply chain management, voting systems. This one's interesting. So you could potentially put the US elections on a blockchain, right? So a couple of these have this ability. Academic and research, gaming and NFTs. So you can build NFTs off Cardano. Although less developed than some other blockchains, Cardano has platforms for creating NFTs and can be used in gaming, digital art, collectibles, etc. Payment systems as well. But I think there's a lot of the other ones that are really, the purpose is payments. So we'll talk about some of those for sure. So that's what we got going on. And it also says it is eco-friendly because it's proof of stake, not proof of work. Proof of stake is, you know, when you stake your assets, basically you have proof that you have them. Proof of work is using mining and energy to secure the chain. So a little bit different protocols there. What do we got next? ALGO. So ALGO, I wasn't too sure about this one either because I don't have any ALGO. I might be picking some up after this video. I think I'm going to, since the market's just a little bit, you know, lower than the all-time highs, and I think that usually after Christmas we see a very nice altcoin season. I think I'm going to start picking up some of these in bulk over the next couple days here. But this one, decentralized finance, so lending and borrowing, already went through stuff like that. DEX is a decentralized exchange. So there's a lot of DEXs. You know, a centralized exchange is something like Coinbase. A decentralized exchange is something like, you know, even the Phantom Wallet. There's a bunch of decentralized exchanges where you can just swap tokens. And basically all it does is it means that there's no fees going to a centralized owner. You know, like in Coinbase, all the fees go to that company, and that company uses those to pay their employees, right? Stable coins, asset tokenization. So this is RWAs. I think this might be a huge development for cryptocurrencies in the future, right? Even like BlackRock has talked about basically tokenizing a lot of real world assets. So basically what this means is like you could have a company that's tokenized, and instead of selling shares, you know, in the stock market, they can just sell tokens. You could do art and collectibles. You could do real estate. You could do all these different things, and a company could basically use these coins to generate money to buy these assets. And then people, you know, as these assets appreciate in value, your coin goes up in value. So that's what RWAs are. It also mentions payment systems can be used for microtransactions because it's fast and low fees. So a Bitcoin, for example, is not fast and it does not have low fees, right? So Bitcoin is really not designed to be a payment system. It's more just designed to be a hedge against inflation and a place to store your capital so that your capital doesn't lose value like it does when you store it in the US dollar. When you have US dollars, they only go down. They never go up. I mean, maybe in the short term, but when you zoom out and look at the long term, if you had $1,000 100 years ago, I mean, now it's worth what, $10, $1? I don't even know. Not a lot, right? Just because of how inflation works, right? When the government prints more money. So governance and voting, another one that could be used for like the US elections, for example. Supply chain management, companies can use Algorand to track goods and origins because, it's a blockchain, it's a ledger. So it's like almost like a spreadsheet, right? So you can use it to track all sorts of different things. Identity management. I haven't seen one like this before. Aim to provide a secure way to manage digital identities, which is crucial for user verification in decentralized applications. Healthcare. Interesting. Gaming. CBDCs. A lot of crypto bros don't like CBDCs because that means a central bank, like the US could make a CBDC and then they could basically control us by limiting who can use these and where you can use them and stuff like that. So this is usually frowned upon for most, crypto investors. But yeah, academic and research, insurance, carbon credits and sustainability. Now, XLM is another one. So cross-border payments and remittances. So, XRP and XLM, they're very good at being, they have minimal fees and almost instant settlement. So that's what you want. Right now, if you want to transfer money from America to Europe, for example, you need to go through the SWIFT system and it takes days, right? So it might take you 2 business days, which might end up being 4 days if it's like you do it on a Friday, for example. So it takes a long time for these transactions to get qualified and counted. And basically you need a bank to make sure that the assets come over, they confirm all these transactions, and it takes a lot of time and it's expensive, right? So even when I have an international, my bank, they charge me like $15 if I have an international payment, just a flat $15 no matter what the payment is. So if I get $30, they take half of it, which is 50%, right? So that's pretty brutal. But with a lot of these currencies, they have very low transaction fees. So also DeFi, same thing. Decentralized exchanges, decentralized finance, asset issuance. So you could do USDC on Stellar, has been used for various financial services, micropayments. Again, low transaction fees, currently 0.0001 XLM. So very small, allowing creators, developers, and service providers to monetize content. So it's just a great way to send money and have very small fees and very quick confirmations. Banking and banking the unbanked. Stellar aims to provide financial service to those without accessing to traditional banking. Exactly. I think this is kind of a reason why a lot of banks are kind of scared of cryptocurrency and they're not really open to servicing that industry because they're worried that they're going to get debanked, right? That they're going to people are just going to start using crypto. I have my own wallet. I have all my currency. If I want to pay someone, I can just send them instantaneously for very, very cheap. So I think banks are a bit worried about that for sure here. So tokenization, same things like RWA stuff, real world assets, smart contracts. If you want to, the best thing is, here you go. Similar capabilities to Ethereum. I think most people know how smart contracts work for Ethereum. If you've done really any research on cryptocurrency, it's basically you can just create a contract that says, all right, if this happens, then this happens. If this happens, this happens. You can basically create a whole new cryptocurrency that does X, different things. You can create all sorts of contracts. You could even make business contracts on the blockchain. And it's like waiting for something to happen. Then it triggers a payment to that company after they do this, 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 and this, for example. So currency exchange acts as a bridge of currency for converting between different fiat currencies. So this is something like international payments as well, like the SWIFT system does, right? Corporate use cases, payroll, supply chain finance, aid distribution. What's this? Organizations can distribute aid or emergency funds quickly. Hey, cool. Again, a lot of stuff with border-to-border payments and integration with traditional finance. So network supports anchors, which are entities that can issue, redeem, or hold digital assets on behalf of the user. Okay. Identity management, we talked about that already in another one. Education, nonprofit initiatives. So cool. XRP, I think, is going to be very similar to XLM. They are often mentioned together when we talk about some things, that they're both approved for, replacing the SWIFT system, for example. Cross-border payments, again, already talked about that. Payment provider services. So I think this is kind of like a liquidity service. Payment providers to expand their services to new markets with lower foreign exchange costs. Faster, cheaper international money transfers. Again, a lot of it's cross-border. Liquidity solutions, so you could basically send a huge amount of money very cheaply. Like if you want to transfer a lot of money using the SWIFT system, the fees are very high, depending on how much you transfer, and there's limits, and of course it takes time. So all of that, micropayments, smart contracts, tokenization, NFTs, DeFi, all of that kind of similar stuff we've already talked about. CBDCs, again, kind of negative, at least this term has a negative opinion on it, right? Inter-institution settlements, tokenized assets, this is more RWA stuff. Peer-to-peer lending, same thing. Gaming and digital asset trading. So in-game purchases or trading digital assets within games or on platforms. Payments for digital services, same thing. Supply chain management, very similar there. HBAR, anything different with this one? These are all, you can see that kind of all of these are very similar. A lot of these are very similar. So yeah. HBAR, distributed ledger technology platform with a range of uses. What do we got? Micro payments, same exact thing. Cross-border micro payments. Very, very, very transaction fees. What is this? 1/100th of a penny. So that's pretty cool. Very cheap, very cheap. Stable coins, DEXs, tracking, transparency. Again, these are all public ledgers. So it's very easy to see where the money is going and who's interacting with that money, right? So you can trace it over all sorts of different wallets. Digital identity, we've talked about that one before. Smart contracts, we know what that is now. We've talked about that. Real world assets. Hedera token service, same thing. So RWAs, ad tech. Okay, this is a different one that hasn't been mentioned, that we haven't talked about yet. Solutions like those from ads DAX use Hedera to track ad impressions, clicks, and engagement transparency. Okay, reducing fraud and ensuring advisors pay for actual views. That's kind of a big one. Right now, people can just have all these bots that just click things, and then now they can get ad revenue. But this is you can actually track to see if, I don't know, all of these bots are coming from a similar IP address or something like that. Healthcare, data integrity, cool. So more, just having a public ledger and tracking medical records or data or whatever. And it's also very tamper proof, because you basically have this ledger that is constantly being confirmed by a bunch of different computers, basically, is what you're doing here. So interesting. Gaming, low transaction costs, fast confirmation times. Again, you want fast confirmation times for gaming. So that's cool there. Environmental and social governance, carbon credits, because it has low energy consensus mechanism, makes it suitable for projects dealing with carbon credits or environmental initiatives. Cool. Again, voting system. I think maybe one day we will have the U.S. voting on a blockchain, especially with how many people have been claiming, bad elections, false elections, cheating, all of this stuff. If we had something on a public ledger where everyone could just look at it and confirm all of these transactions, I think there would be a lot less scrutiny of the voting system here in America. So that'd be cool. Legal, compliance, file storage, verification, etc. So that is kind of the use cases of a lot of these cryptocurrencies. Oh my God, I've already been talking for 18 minutes. Wow. Yeah, so that's what we got going on now. The reason, I think a lot of people also don't think about taxes. So, for example, if I wanted to pay off my house, and let's say my house is, let's say I have like 300 grand to pay on my house, right? Okay. So I want to make 300 grand next crypto cycle to pay off my house, right? So I'd have to make like almost 600,000 just to make 300,000, because the tax rate when you're above like 500 grand a year is like 50%, right? So I got to give 50% to the government. So, basically what I'm doing here is I'm like, okay, I'll give 50% to the IRS, and now I get to keep 50%. And it's really kind of like theft, right? Because, for me, for example, I've had a very low salary. I've never been in that high of a tax bracket. I'm always like in the 20% tax bracket. I've historically always made, I don't know, less than 100 grand a year, which is decent, but nothing crazy. And then I've been saving up all my cryptocurrency since 2017. Now I'm finally going to sell, and it's going to put me up into one of the highest brackets, and I'm going to basically lose almost all of my income to the IRS. So if I had most of my assets in these and Trump ended up making these tax free, I just basically doubled how much money I made. So, it's pretty crazy when you look at tax liability. And I think a lot of people don't really account for this. But yeah, so it can save you a lot of money. I think these are good currencies that will do well, especially with Trump getting into office. Now, if any of these get fully adopted by any sort of anything, I mean, if we end up putting the US elections on a blockchain, if we end up the SWIFT system getting replaced by XRP and XLM, the price of these two assets is going to frickin' skyrocket. Not to mention the chance for them to be tax-free next year or maybe the year after. That would totally change the game. Okay, that's going to be it for the video. Just want to talk about these. I do have a couple of these trades open, I believe. Let's see what we got going on here. I like to go through my trades at the end of the videos here. I do have an XRP trade that I'm actually down on right now. I closed it out in a huge profit previously. I have a couple of trades. I have an ADA trade that I'm still down on. XRP. I do have a couple other trades. This move is doing very well. I'm up 150 bucks, 64%. So that's pretty cool. I only risked $227 for this trade. So, we're up 60%. That's pretty cool. I've already taken a small amount of profits just for fun. ENS is another one I'm banking on. So if you do want to do any leverage trading or, just access another exchange to buy smaller coins, feel free to use my link below for BitUnix and BTCC. They have great newbie bonuses. Right now for BitUnix, you can get up to $5,500. BTCC, you get basically 10% of whatever you put in there as a newcomer reward. So feel free to use any of those links in the description below. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below. What do you guys have? Do you guys have any of these? Are you banking on any of these to be massive movers? I'd love to hear what you have to say. And that's it for the video. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really helps me out on the channel. And that's it for the video. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.